Okay, we're back. We're back for episode 2. Back with Harsha, CEO of K-Tech Labs, for another interesting conversation on cybersecurity. Hey, Harsha,
Hi, Satish.
how you holding up?
So far, good. Staying calm.
Deep breath,
Hey,
exhale.
kids.
Yeah, it's fun, man. So it's great. I had some great feedback from the last round that we did. So a lot of people are interested in this topic, which is great. The last time we did this video, we ended with how do we help people understand building security, right? And what does that even mean? So before we dive into building security, how is the world of cybersecurity? Any big newses, announcements this week?
Oh, yes. Like with a lot of people working remote and amid this coronavirus thing, we are seeing an increase in cyber attacks. Like so many, like DDoS, ransomware, and even today I heard this new word, Zoom bomb. So hackers are trying to get into your Zoom meetings to know your business details, information, trying to disrupt your Zoom meetings. Yeah, it's going crazy.
Wow. Imagine that, nothing is like private anymore.
Yeah, yeah. And recently I read this news. So cybersecurity insurer Chubb got hit by a ransomware attack. So their third-party sensitive information got hacked.
Wow. What is ransomware? Like, people that don't know, we've seen it all in movies, the blue screen, and you got to
Yeah.
pay millions of dollars. But like in real life, like, what is ransomware?
So ransomware, think of it as a malicious software that sits on your computer. So if you go on a website that's infected, or if you get a phishing email and you click on that link, so ransomware gets downloaded on your system and hackers get hold of your system. So they take control of your system. So sometimes you see encrypted files, sometimes you see a blue screen.
Oh
So it
wow!
stops all the operation on your system.
I had a text message, supposedly from Shoppers Drug Mart, saying, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
during this COVID-19 period, we're tripling your optimum points. Click here to
Mm-hmm.
log in to see." I was like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah.
Are you crazy? I mean, I don't even have Optimum account, but I wonder how many people with it go, "Oh wow, you know, I'm
Yes.
getting 3 times the points once I log in." You know, crazy world,
And
man.
then boom, oh yeah, boom, yeah, you got hit by a ransomware.
Man, so let's talk about your favorite subject, which is building security, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, buildings are just concrete and infrastructure. It's the people that manage these buildings that are accountable for the work, and protecting it. How do buildings get hacked, and what are ways people that own buildings, manage buildings, take care of buildings, start to think about cybersecurity as a threat to them?
So buildings traditionally were designed to run the operation, like building systems to run the operation, like make sure elevator is running, your heating, your lighting is working. But with disconnected devices and IoT, that's where we are seeing more and more attacks on building systems.
Mm,
So our facility team and property management team are more focused on running these smooth operations. And now cybersecurity is added as a top thing on their list.
right.
So one way to do is like really these low hanging fruits. Practice password hygiene. Make sure you don't write a password and put it on a sticky note so that everyone knows what your password is. Yeah, and stop sharing your password with your coworkers, your supervisor, your building system vendors, and make sure your password is really strong and you keep updating it regularly.
Right.
One more thing that we can do, and that's very easy and very simple to do, is the computer on which your application that manages your building is running, make sure that computer is patched and is updated.
Mm,
Because what hackers really look for is these vulnerabilities in the system. So if your system is not updated, is not patched properly, it's very easy to compromise this system.
right.
The other thing is to have antivirus installed. And if you are not using USB, So just block the port so that someone cannot access or plug in an infected USB, or if we are charging our phone using that USB port and if our phone is infected,
Mhm.
so that
Mhm.
leads to
Let's
the
do that.
infection. Yeah. So these
Yeah.
are some of the common tips that we can practice to keep the building system safe.
So when you go in and do the 360 Propsecure risk assessment, um, who calls you? Like, who says, "Oh, I think we need to do a baseline assessment"? Is it the IT team? Is it the property? Like, who is the person that you can help?
So in majority of cases, it's the property management teams because they are the one who look into the building operations and work closely with the building system vendors. But in some cases, it's the IT team because in some of the REITs we have seen corporate IT plays a role, but they don't actually manage the building systems. So
Mm.
majority of cases, it's the building people, property managers, your operations manager, or the building system vendors are the one who reach out to us for 360 Propsecure.
Yeah, and I know you preach a lot about preventive versus reactive, right? And so, the worst thing to be in is something goes wrong, and everybody looks at the other person and says, "I thought you
Yeah.
patched it. I thought you called the vendor." So there's internal, obviously, assessment that you do, and then what about all the third-party vendors that support these buildings? How do they play a role in the formula?
So third party vendors, so we work closely not only with the operations team, but with the third party vendors. Because third party vendors are the one who go and look after these systems, any update, any maintenance, or even setting up or upgrading these systems.
Right, right.
So when we really do our 360 and our remediation service, so it's not only the operation manager or your building engineers, it's so in a way we bridge the gap between facility team and these vendors.
No, that's an important ecosystem. So,
Yes.
the 360 process really looks at internal teams, external vendors, all systems that are connected to support
Yes.
important infrastructure. Um, and like, it's just a very long process.
So to do a risk assessment, it takes 3 to 5 days. Once we are in a building and do the assessment and generate a scorecard, it's a 3 to 5 days engagement for building approx 15,000 square feet.
Amazing, amazing. So hopefully everybody watching this video will either think about what they haven't thought about or start to ask their internal teams questions that you sort of started now, password hygiene and third-party patches and vendors. That was great. I think people that are interested in cybersecurity, especially building owners and property managers now at least know, what is the things that they should be looking for. And of course, people will reach out if they want the props these people will reach out if they want the Prop 360 assessment. What's in store for next episode? Let's tease them a little bit.
So in next episode, we'll talk about how we can educate our staff on good cyber practice. And our webinar is coming up on building automation cybersecurity. So watch for
Nice.
that space.
Okay, so we'll talk again in episode 3 about education and an upcoming webinar. As soon as you have it, let me know. I'll share it with everybody we know. And then we'll be back for another episode of Cybersecurity Moment with Harsha, CEO of K-Tech Labs. And then until next time, we'll see you soon and be safe.